All right, so we're going to talk about using the zero product property to solve polynomial equations. So a polynomial is in factored form when it's written as a product of factors. Before, we had talked about standard form, right? That was when we had x squared plus 5x minus 24. And then we would factor that to get it to our factored form, which is a product of two factors, right? We have x minus 3 times x plus 8. And you can look at this other example too. X squared plus 2x in factored form would be x times x plus 2. So that's a product of factors. When one side of an equation is a polynomial in factored form, then the other side would be 0, and we can use the zero product property to solve the equation. Now, this is a vocab word you need to know. The solutions of a polynomial equation are also called roots. So whenever you have an equation, what this means is whenever you have an equation and it crosses your x-axis, these points are your solutions and they're also called roots. Okay, so here's the zero product property again. We just wrote it on the front page. But if a and b are real numbers and a times b equals 0, then a equals 0 or b equals 0. Or both could equal 0, but generally only one of them will. Okay, so let's look at some more examples. So if we look at example number 1, we want to solve each equation. So for part A, we have 2x times x minus 4 equals 0. Well, here we have another product of factors, right? We have 2x times x minus 4. So we could think of it as our 2x is kind of like A, x minus 4 is like B. So we know either 2x has to equal 0 or x minus 4 is going to equal 0, right? Because that's our zero product property. One of the two has to equal 0 if they're multiplying to get 0. So now we just need to solve for x. So the important thing when solving for x, remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So for 2x equals 0, we would solve that by dividing by 2, right? Because we want to get x by itself. When you divide each side by 2, 0 divided by 2 is 0. So you get x equals 0. For x minus 4, we want to add 4 so that we can get our x by itself. If we add 4 to each side, x is going to equal 4. So our answer is x equals 0 or x equals 4. Okay, let's look at part B. So for part B, we have x minus 3 times x minus 9. So again, one of these has to equal 0. So either x minus 3 equals 0 or x minus 9 equals 0. So let's solve for x. If we have x minus 3, to get rid of the minus 3, we're going to add 3. So we get x equals 3. X minus 9, we'll add 9 and get x equals 9. So our answer is either x equals 3 or x equals 9. Okay, so I want you guys to try these monitoring progress questions. At the beginning of the next video, I will give you the answers.